talked about his message again today, that he wants to be the one, that he wanted to be the one sitting across the table from Donald Trump. And that's something we just heard him speak about again. And people here now, it seems like the energy is going to pick back up and turn more into like a party-like atmosphere here, Rosie.
Okay, Ashley Burke down there at Liberal headquarters in the nation's capital. Yep, you can always tell who's winning because there's dance music and that kind of thing. But as Ashley says, we are not yet in a position to tell you what kind of government Mark Carney is going to lead, and we're going to explain to you why that is in just a minute. But first, I do want to bring in the panel just to get some thoughts on what we heard there from Mark Carney. Mary Ng has kindly returned. She was with me yesterday. She's back here for the end of the night, but at least we know the outcome, and you have something. You have something to say, and you're probably quite happy, I would imagine.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it is Prime Minister Carney, and he is going to govern. And I think that when you look at the results tonight, what's really important is what he has laid out in terms of the work ahead. And I think for me, the most important thing is the last part, which is about unity, because the Americans are going to look at us, and they're going to want to see strength. They're going to want to see strength in Canada. Donald Trump responds to strength. And I would say that looking at the numbers the way they are, probably the most important thing that we need to do as a country is to come together. Mm-hmm. And you heard the Prime Minister say he's going to govern for all Canadians. That is the job ahead, and it's going to be some job that he's going to have to do, and that we're all going to have to do. And I would say that that would include those on the Conservative benches as well, because it's going to be the sum of the parts that's going to make us strong.
Yeah, and we did hear some of that from Pierre Poilievre. We will see, A, whether he gets elected tonight, and B, whether or not that sentiment holds. But Chantal, in terms of reaching out to the people that did not vote for the Liberal leader, in terms of setting sort of expectations around the kinds of things he's going to do, what did you make of the Prime Minister's message tonight?
That he did the after sales service that was expected of someone who may be leading a minority parliament with a very small margin over the main opposition party. The Liberals, this campaign for the Liberals will go down in the history books.
Yeah.
For having reversed that lead that the Conservatives enjoyed for so long, that looked baked in, for having picked a leader in record time, and for having run a very disciplined campaign.
Yes.
It wasn't the Liberals who fought amongst each other or whispered in each other's back, it was the Conservatives.
Yes.
And that cost. That being said, if Mr. Carney wants to talk about humility, he should look at recent history and Paul Martin, because he does have a chance of becoming just an extension of the lease that Justin Trudeau had for 3 terms. And that is a danger that is even greater for the fact that maybe he will get to a majority by morning, but if he stays where he is, it's a fragile government whose life expectancy, in theory, on average, is 18 to 24 months.
I'm going to dip back in, if I can, to Liberal headquarters, can I? Because Mark Carney is making his way through the crowd there, and I just want to get a little taste of what's going on. Yeah. Okay, we'll keep those pictures up and keep talking. I would note, though, that right now, 166 plus 7 from the NDP gets you in a comfortable spot for the Liberal Party. If you might have a minority, but you've got a pretty strong way to get to a majority, and you don't have to work with the bloc to do it.
A minority is a minority is a minority.
Yeah, except there's an NDP. There's an NDP who doesn't have a leader. Right?
Yes, but I don't think there's a lot of appetite on the part of Mark Carney's team or on the part of Canadians to have a new.
No, I'm not suggesting it, for sure.
Formal agreement with the NDP, and the NDP is going to do what it needs to do, which is support the government, because it can't afford to have another election campaign.
I will point out, though, that the numbers have ticked up here just over the course of the past 5 minutes, and we'll explain a little bit more what we're looking at in a second. Andrew, what did you make of what Mr. Carney had to say? The Prime Minister, rather.
I thought humility was a well-chosen theme for several reasons. One is the Liberals had a near-death experience here. If Donald Trump had not blundered into the whole thing, they would not have had this result. Secondly, because at one point people were talking about them getting 200 seats, but you could feel the air slowly
Yeah.
going out of the
Yeah.
campaign in the last couple of weeks. They're lucky it didn't carry on for another couple of weeks. Third, because Mr. Carney has many strengths, but he's always been the smartest guy in the room, and that has its perils. It can impair your judgment, and it can alienate other people, and this is not a moment, God knows, for triumphalism, even though you've won. And fourthly, because we're heading into very perilous times, facing up against somebody who wishes to do us ill. It's going to require cross-party cooperation. I must say, it did my heart good to see this kind of outbreak of all-party classiness tonight. Long may it rain. I don't think it will last for very long. But if they're smart, they will understand that this is the times we're in. That if we're going to project strength, I said this earlier tonight, it's not going to come from one party beating its chest and saying, I got a huge majority. It's going to come from working across party lines with the other parties.
Yeah. That was the right message for that for tonight, Althea.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It was also noteworthy that he had very kind words to say about Jagmeet Singh and Mr. Blanchet and Mr. Poilievre. He did not have to be so graceful, but
You forgot
not
me.
everything Mr. Carney knows how to do is count.
No, he didn't.
So,
I think he does actually.
She
quite
forgot
well.
me.
so this is a lot tighter than they expected. And this, I think, changes a bit of the calculations in the House of
Oh,
Commons.
it's
The
up
other
to you.
thing is, although he acknowledged he was a politician at the end of the campaign, it is hard to be in the House of Commons and to face someone criticizing you and calling you names and opposing everything you're trying to do all the time. And so
Yep.
there will be a big learning curve, I think, in the House for Mr. Carney as well. At least he gets time to do a reset, speech from the throne.
Yep.
Maybe there are things that he can put in there to reach out to Mr. Poilievre's voters, not just to say that I will represent you, but that I have heard the concerns that you voiced through Mr. Poilievre and I will address them.
Well, a middle class tax cut, not as big as what the Conservatives promised, but that'll be one of the first things. But you're right, we've never seen a Mark Carney in the House of Commons.
I'm surprised
We
that
don't know how that's gonna
Barton's
go. We don't
crew
know,
doesn't
how
mention
he will
Greens
respond
since
when
she's
if
blackballed
he is
them.
attacked. I tend to agree with